Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm really upset today. I just found out, I guess I hadn't been too in the news, but I just found out Timmothy Cunningham, a scientist from the CDC, I guess they found him dead a while ago. He had been missing since February for about 7 weeks, and they found him in the Chattahoochee. Please forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce the name of the river, but it's a river in Georgia. They found him dead. And but I found out today that they ruled it out as a suicide. I'm like, really? So let me get this straight. The doctor that has high-ranking official, Harvard graduate, PhD, has worked on cases of Ebola and has been dispatched to other locations, to investigate the Zika virus. Highly respected, goes missing for 7 weeks, and then he's found dead in a river, and it's ruled out as a suicide. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Like, he was murdered. Okay, so imagine the CDC's shock or scare that somebody that's highly respected and highly accomplished comes out and says that the flu shot actually caused the flu outbreak. Okay, so let me tell you about the flu shot. I have to make my disclaimer shit. I'm not a doctor, and I can't give medical advice, but I wouldn't take the flu shot. I stopped. I never will again. Okay, I would like to say that I never did. I can't say that, but I never will. And even before I was awake to how corrupt the pharmaceutical industry is and how corrupt the CDC is and all that stuff, just instinctively I stopped taking it because I would always get sick after the flu shot. And then I go to the doctor, and the doctor would, I'd be sick, and they were like, oh, you don't really have the flu. Well, first I would be like, do you think it was a vaccine? And they're like, no, you don't really have the flu. I was like, well, I really had to call into work, and I really have a fever, and I really am throwing up, and I'm really, have aches and chills. So after that, I was just like, something's up here. I'm just not going to take the flu shot, like, ever. And as long as I've been keeping my vitamin D levels up, vitamin C, cutting down on the sugar, especially around that time, trying to get some sun, all other things that I can do to boost my immune system to make sure you don't get sick. I really haven't gotten sick from the flu, I think, since then, okay? So I just rather take my chances. So in addition to that, later down the line, I found out that, first of all, too, when you're tested for any vaccine, they test for antibodies, and they test if you see antibodies for a specific disease. And if you have these antibodies, then you are they consider you immune to it. But that's not true, because if you're immune to, I'm trying to say, that's not true, because it doesn't necessarily determine whether you're immune to a disease. It determines whether you are you've come in contact with the disease. So you can have come in contact with the disease and still not be immune from getting it. That's a whole nother, I don't know if they're even able to test that. Anyway, I digressed a little bit, but I found out that later down the line that they have to test, they have to guess the strain. There's no scientific method or objective test that they use to do this. They just guess. I guess they're like psychics there or something. They can just guess what strain is going to be, circulating in the winter. So when I found this out, I was like livid, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, are you serious? So I went and I asked a pharmacist at a Rite Aid, because I was living in California at the time. So that's like a CVS or Walgreens, stuff like that. And I was like, is this true? They have to guess the strain of the flu shot? And she's like, oh my God, yeah. Because they have to make enough for people at the end of the year. And she was like looking at me like, duh. I'm like, no, duh on you, lady, because you're guessing. You don't even know. So this is why I think the past 2 years at least, the flu shot hasn't even been proven effective. Okay? Plus, you're injecting a strain of something into somebody. There's a whole nother level about vaccine shedding and actually carrying the disease that you're injected with. So they pass these, they pass whatever the virus is through certain cultures and stuff to make it weak and attenuate is called attenuate, which is like a weakened virus. So the virus is alive, but it's not really virulent, and it can't really, by their standards, can't do harm. But lo and behold, people still get sick. So, and you know, even by their standards, they're guessing the wrong strain. So even the batch that they're making is not going to end up, you know, even protecting you by even their standards anyway, because they're just guessing strains here, okay? So I won't take the flu shot, and ever again. In addition to that, if you guys have ever heard of the vaccine injury court, it's really hard to sue the pharmaceutical industries directly. So if you are injured by a vaccine, you have to go through what's called a vaccine court, which is what taxpayers pay. They pay 75 cents for each vaccine that you receive. They pay 75 cents on the dime. It goes to this fund for the vaccine injury court. I mean, there's a whole nother corrupt issue there with pharmaceutical manufacturers not being able to have full responsibility for their, you know, malfunctioning vaccines, where, you know, if it was a car company or any other company in the world with any other products, then they would directly be held liable, but they're not. So through the vaccine injury court, I found out actually a law firm that has their vaccine injury cases listed, and I'm going to put that in links, the vaccine injury cases listed, and their highest claims and the ones that they're paid for the most is, oh, you guessed it, the flu shot. Okay, so anywhere ranging from Guillain-Barré, which is where you start like tingling and numbness, and you actually start to slowly become paralyzed from the feet, and then it works its way all the way up to your body, and it can even paralyze your respiratory system. So you need assistance to breathe. A multiple sclerosis, to death, and there are all other things that it has caused. So it's gonna be interesting. You're gonna see the vaccine and the manufacturer that made it, and what it caused, whether it was death or any of the other diseases I named, and then you can actually, there's a link you can actually see the court case and look at all that stuff too. So I just had to comment on that. You people that think the oil industry is powerful, no, honey. The CDC, the pharmaceutical industry, has nothing on the oil industry. So, oh my God! I have the flu. The CDC's coming after me. They must have thrown the virus on me or something. I'm totally kidding. Anyway, I also, let's see if I can mention this really fast, because there has to be more explanation. But I just think our medical model is really messed up. It's based on Pasteur's germ theory, which is, in short, the theory that germs are around us all the time. They're attacking us, and we have to do everything that we can in order to protect ourselves from getting sick by getting vaccinated or taking medicine or something, right? But I think it's wrong. No. All right. That's what I get. I was eating and something went down the wrong pipe. Anyway. Okay, I'm gonna cut this short because I have to cough some more. Peace, truth, love you guys. Bye.